Hi, this is Dion Bickham with CBR. I'm sitting here today at Comic-Con San Diego 2022 with the creators of Beyond the White Knight, Red Hood. I'm here with Sean Gordon Murphy and Clay McCormack. Gentlemen, how are you today? How's
good, man? Good to see you, Dion.
All righty.
You'll want to say it too.
Yeah, I'm also doing well. Great to see you.
Well, that's great. It's good. Both of you guys are doing well.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the Red Hood, specifically Jason Todd. How is Jason Todd different in the Murphyverse than in the mainstream DC universe?
Well, Jason is the first Robin in the White Knight universe, which started as a bit of an accident, I would say.
Yeah.
But it ended up becoming a really central part to the whole story because his capture and torture ended up sort of spreading out and becoming a central point to all these other characters, to Batman and to Harley and to Joker and even Dick.
In the first volume, when I had a cemetery in the background, and I thought, well, whose names should we see on these tombstones? And I'm like, oh man, what if we saw Jason Todd's tombstone? And then Robin or Dick makes some comment about he was the Robin before me, and it, like an idiot, I didn't realize that there's an order to the Robins, and that was out of order. And then Clay caught it, and he said, "You want to fix it?" And I said, "Nah, let's just go with it." And I've been trying to dig myself out of that hole for 5 years now.
I thought it was a really bold move. So when I read the script, I was like, "Oh, he's the first Robin now. That's really making some changes." And he didn't know what I was talking about. So, but now it's become a really central part that I think is kind of added a really different layer to the whole thing.
If I could go back and do it again, I probably would have not made this error, but it's too late to fix now. So we're going out of our ways to find creative ways to explain it and make it acceptable. So now, Jason's always been the angry Robin, but now he's angry because he was the first and he was replaced, and he wasn't actually dead, and he was annoyed that Dick replaced him so quickly. And I think it works in its own way, honestly, at this point. So my goal is one day they do a movie of it, and they use Jason as the first one, and it just, comic fans are horrified, and the rest of the world has like no idea. that'll be something I can take to my grave.
All right. Well, another really fascinating thing that you guys did with Red Hood is that he's more like Batman now than he's been in like the mainstream universe. Specifically, he has his own Robin. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, we we were talking about what to do with Jason, and we came up with the idea of making him like Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai, kind of this bruiser, kind of loser who who has a redemption story. And there's a young Robin in his neighborhood who learns that he was the original Robin. She basically geeks out on him. She's sort of like Robin cosplaying, saving cats from trees, stuff like that. And she begs him to train her, and he goes from no to yes. And then he really finds a lot. What starts out as his like FU to Bruce Wayne to prove he can raise a Robin better turns into him building a lot of empathy and really liking this young girl and feeling what Bruce felt, helping younger people himself. And I thought, well, let's have a female Robin. We've got so many, white people in Gotham. Let's make her. We were both into this Mongolian band, and I'm like, let's go Mongolian. Like, I don't know of any Mongolian characters. There's a lot of Asian influence in Neo Gotham anyway. So taking that, Clay said, well, can we make her outfit Mongolian? So I gave her some kind of Mongolian tunic, a small bow, and her quiver hangs by her side. And Clay had some other ideas on what he wanted to do with her as far as her like size and build.
Yeah, having Jason have his own Robin, I think the important thing was to he's trying to train her out of spite. He thinks he knows everything, and so we wanted to give him a trainee who he doesn't understand how to train this person because she's not like him. He's an acrobat, he's a high flyer, but she's more of like a rugby player. She's got, a bigger solid build, more like Serena Williams type. And so he has to figure out, well, how do I adjust my training methods so I can make her an effective crime fighter, but I can't teach her how to do backflips off the top of a building or stuff like that. So it's the first step for him in realizing that he doesn't know everything. So.
Okay, so this version of Jason Todd, Red Hood, is actually getting his own series, I believe, that's starting in a few weeks.
That's right. Clay has been helping me with this book since 2017. I dedicated the first volume to him, and I felt like it was time that he should just and he's been helping me write for a while. It's time he needs his own book. So even though we share writing duties, it's mostly Clay doing all of the work and the scripting. You just had to take my ideas and make them make sense.
Yeah, that's about it. No, it's been really fun working with Sean. Yeah, I've been kind of in the background helping him out since the first volume of White Knight, and finally getting to really collaborate on this has been a blast for me. Yeah.
Well, it feels almost criminal talking about Beyond the White Knight without mentioning Bruce Wayne. Now, I know this version of Bruce Wayne has gone through or an ordeal a little bit differently than what he's experienced in the mainstream universe. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, he went to jail at the end of Volume 2. He told Gotham who he was. He decided that his fortune was corrupt and it didn't belong to him, so he gave it away. He's sort of running the experiment some of us think. It's like, why doesn't Bruce just donate his money to charity and then solve crime that way and education and blah, blah, blah. Well, he tries that. He goes to jail for 10 years, and it turns out it doesn't work. The money gets corrupted again, and he has his blinders on for 10 years. He's not paying attention to anything. And then when he realizes one day that there is a Batman still out there, he feels responsible and wants to go take him down and still fix his mistake. He's sort of convinced Batman was a bad idea, despite everyone else in his life saying Batman was a good idea. And Bruce, you just need to forgive yourself, or you're not perfect. It's okay. So he's going through this identity crisis, and he's got a hologram of Joker, literally a microchip implanted in his brain. So he has this annoying sidekick that adds a lot of humor to the story. And it turns out it doesn't have to just break out and stop Batman. He needs to fix everything. He's sort of paying for his mistakes. That's sort of the biggest antagonist in the book, is Bruce is being locked up and abandoning everybody, and how he has to pay the price for it.
No, that's all true, and I think the most interesting part about it is that fixing all this starts with Jason. He's the first person he confronts when he's still in jail, and it sort of sets him down the path of, all right, I think I need to tie up some loose ends and maybe say sorry to a few people and maybe figure out how to be. What is Bruce Wayne without Batman? Is there a Bruce Wayne? Is there a Batman if they don't both coexist?
It actually didn't occur to me until our recent interview 5 minutes ago that Jason was the linchpin and so much going wrong.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, no, I probably knew that abstract, but I never actually put those thoughts together like that, and this is why I need help as a writer. I could do a B+ job on writing. I just try to draw it into an A level book and fool people. Oh, damn it, that's on camera. Fool people into thinking I'm an A writer, but really the secret sauce to what I do is having his help in all this. So I'm just glad he's able to spread his wings and fly. Oh, boy. I don't want you to respond to that.
One of the really cool things you did with Beyond the White Knight is that you married the stories of Bruce Wayne with that of Terry McGinnis. Can you talk a little bit about Terry McGinnis's role in this story?
Yeah, well, the goal for all these books is we want it to be different but familiar. So we want the characters basically to resemble the characters that we all love. So Terry is very close to what he was in the cartoon, but he happens to be working for Derek Powers. He is he doesn't know who killed his dad yet, and you think that he's being misled, but you find out in the later issue that he actually is playing Derek Powers because he suspects something, and he's trying to be a detective. And he's like an 18-year-old, so he's not doing a great job. Yet he has this overpowered Batman suit that kicks a lot of ass, and it's been fun to sort of take our favorite pieces of Batman Beyond and weave them together in this universe. The trick was, I think, there's so many characters to deal with that Terry doesn't really get any real face time until issue 4. I think you finally start to see his backstory and add more heart to it. So I think a lot of people who started reading it were expecting more of Terry. So now when they get past issue 4, I think they'll get everything that we're trying to do here. And then with the Red Hood stuff, I think they'll have even more to chew on.
Yeah, I think so too. Terry's he's a new piece of an already pretty big puzzle, and so trying to find a place for him to fit in that was satisfying to people who wanted to see him, I think was one thing that Sean had to kind of figure out. But I think he did a really great job, and Terry's, I think fans of Terry will be happy with his appearance in the book.
We also, I found out that when they designed him for the animated series in the 90s, they designed him to be Asian. And for some reason in the creative process, they ended up changing him to being white. And when I watched the cartoon, I always just assumed he was half Asian or something. It doesn't really matter the story. It was just, part of the culture. And with so much kanji and Japanese influence in Neo Gotham, because it's like Blade Runner, I thought, well, what if I did make him half Asian? And it's not really the point of the story. It's just in there, really. But I just thought it was a nice way to make our Terry just a little bit different. So that was really fun.
So how does Terry's story connect with that of Jason Todd?
Go ahead. They both are angry young men who have been injured by Gotham City, and Terry's taken in by Derek Powers and given a hyper-powered Batman suit that just amplifies every negative emotion he's ever had, because now he can take his rage out on the guy who killed his dad and all this other kind of stuff. And Jason is the one who was actually trained by Batman and kind of left behind. And so they have a bit of an overlap as far as being given the keys to this vigilante kingdom, and maybe they're not ready for it. And I think towards Vigilante Kingdom. Yeah, that's a good name. Yeah, White Knight Vigilante Kingdom next year. But I think so having Jason be kind of the first one on the list of characters who figured out a way to make peace with Bruce and all that kind of stuff, I think opens the door to everybody else kind of having the same opportunity, Terry included.
All right. Well, are there any other characters that we already know from the DC universe making appearances later on in your story?
Yeah, by the end of this one, I'm going to start dropping hints that there'll be some JLA stuff happening. I won't say who yet, but a lot of people have been asking where some of these other characters are. And I really just thought of this book as Gotham's an island, and you don't really think about the rest of the world outside of that. But the readers seem to be really curious, and we need more stuff to do, so we're going to try to expand it even more, maybe even get into some more spin-offs and stuff in the future with different writer artists teams, and just sort of see where this goes, trying to create like a ultimate universe for DC, is a way to look at it. And Clay will be helping me guide the whole thing. My wife, Katana Collins, she wrote the Harley White Knight, and I'm going to try to tee her up for some more work as well, so we'll see where this little thing leads us,
All right. Well, I have one last question for you guys. What is a particular moment coming up in your series, either the Red Hood series or the remainder of the Beyond the White Knight series, that you just cannot wait for fans to see?
This will be a spoiler, so if you haven't read issue 5 yet, but whenever this comes out, but Jack, the hologram who's helping Bruce, has no choice but to take over Bruce's body. He's helping Bruce because Bruce is having a panic attack and he can't move, and there's people running at him to start kicking his ass. So Jack takes over and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe it worked. Bruce is horrified. He's like, what the hell is this? And Jack's like, I'm sorry, I had no choice. So he's trying to fight. So Bruce is like, come on, put your arms up, do this, do that, hit that guy. So Jack gets his dream of actually being Batman, and Bruce is sort of the Robin. And that switcher, that sort of, what's that movie? This Freaky Friday thing was so much fun, like comedically as well. Like I don't really get to do a lot of humor with Batman, but Joker, having Jack Napier around has been awesome. So that's my favorite part of issue 5 that's coming up. So spoilers. Is there anything that you are looking forward to people seeing?
I just had a blast really annoying Jason Todd with this new Robin character and making his life kind of a living hell. So hopefully people reading it will be as tickled by it as I was.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jason and Gann have their own spinoff in some ways. I think they're such a nice comedic duo.
I mean, I'm not going to say no to that, but now that we have it on the record.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, gentlemen. Again, this is Dion Bickham with CBR. I've been speaking with Sean Gordon Murphy and Clay McCormack about Beyond the White Knight, Red Hood. Thank you very much for watching.